up, y'all? Welcome back to another video, and in this video we are going to be looking at my top 10 quarterbacks going into the 2020 NFL season. Let's get it started. Alrighty, everyone, so welcome into another video. No, this is not just Lions on its own, which most videos are. We are also going to be involving other NFL teams as we rank my top 10 quarterbacks for the 2020 season. Now, we're going to set some ground rules, but if you guys like these and you guys want to see more, make sure you leave a like and let me know in the comments below. But we're going to set some ground rules. I did record this video already once, so we're going to kind of go a little bit faster here because last time it took way too long. I didn't think it would take that long to make this top 10 list. I didn't think it would take that long to record the top 10 list, I should say. I don't want to put out a 30-minute video to you guys, so I'm going to try this again. Try to do a little bit quicker, maybe not talk as much about certain players, and yeah, again, this is my opinion. Let's talk about some ground rules, though, that we have to set to keep this list consistent. One, there are no rookies. So Joe Burrow, Tua, Jordan Love, those guys are not on this list. I just don't think it's fair to put those players on this list when we haven't seen an NFL snap from them. So they're not on here. Two, we are going to be ranking these players by quarterback ability as the main factor. What can you do as a quarterback? All right, that's really what it comes down to. Now, some people are going to want to see a list about wins, right? Quarterback wins. What does your quarterback do? You know, does he have all these Super Bowls? You know, what is he showing me over his tenure as a quarterback? This is projecting 2020 based on last season more. What have you done for me recently? What have I seen from you last season? Maybe a little bit 2018, but more last season. What have you shown for me very, very recently? And that's me kind of predicting it going into 2020, what my top 10 quarterbacks will be. So if you want to see a list that just completely goes by wins, that's cool. That's just not this list. I just want to let you guys know that because I know I'm going to get comments. I know I'm going to get comments saying, well, he doesn't win football games. That's not this list, dog. I'm telling y'all, that's not the list now, so just keep that in mind. It's not just by wins. It's a factor, but not a huge factor. Okay, it's a factor. It's a factor that's always got to be taken into consideration. But you got to keep in mind, some teams, some guys are just dealt the wrong cards, and other quarterbacks are dealt the right cards. There's a reason some of the best quarterbacks of all time don't have a Super Bowl, and some of the ones that you kind of want to you can easily forget do have Super Bowls. Because again, it's not all about winning football games. Even though at the end of the day it is as a team, for these rankings, it's not for me. So in the NFL it is, but for this list, it's not. Okay, we got that clear? Okay, let's hop into this list. These are my opinions. Make sure you guys comment below what your top 10 looks like heading in 2020 season. Again, I'm kind of projecting what mine will look like in 2020 based on what I've seen, what team they look like, supporting cast offensively, not defensively, and rushing game. What do you have? Like, what weapons do you have to go to? What did you show me recently in your quarterback ability? So that's really what it comes down to, and that's how I'm ranking this list. Let's get started. Coming in at number 10, we have an NFC North quarterback, Kirk Cousins. So anyone that's coming in here saying, this is a biased list before they even watch it, stop it. Kirk Cousins is at 10, okay? I know I'm a Lions guy, but I have Kirk Cousins in my top 10. So that shows me I'm giving some respect to the NFC North guys. Kirk Cousins to me is a good quarterback. I think he's a good quarterback. I don't think he's great. I think he's good, though, and I think that's obviously why Craig's top 10. If you're in this top 10, you're a good quarterback to great quarterback, in my opinion. That's just how it goes, right? Top 10 is very impressive. He's number 10 for me. He's a good quarterback, and he's had a really good supporting cast, obviously, and that's why they've been so successful under him, and that's why they were successful under Case Keenum as well, who is now just basically a backup quarterback, or at least we think he's a backup quarterback for Cleveland. I'm not sure. We'll have to wait and see. Either way, Kirk Cousins, though, coming off of 26 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 3,600 yards, and an 107 passer rating. He had the 6th best rushing attack and the 8th best defense. He's a good quarterback, but he's got really, really good weapons. Okay, when you look at his weapons, you had Adam Thielen, you added Justin Jefferson, you got Tajay Sharp, you have Irv Smith, and you have Dalvin Cook if he's healthy. Overall, the weapons are good. Recently, I've seen a good quarterback. He's one of those guys that I think can maybe not carry your team. I don't think he's going to take a bad team and make them really good, but I also don't think, he's going to pull your team down. If you put a good team around him, your team's going to be successful. I don't know if they'll ever win a Super Bowl, but they're going to be successful, and we've seen that, right? He's got a good team around him, good rushing attack and a good defense, and he's a playoff team pretty much every single year with Minnesota, and he will continue to be if they continue to have that kind of supporting cast. Again, I'm not putting a big emphasis on, how many wins you have, and I think he's a good quarterback. He doesn't really have a crazy mobile ability. He's a solid quarterback, and, that's why I'm at number 10. Hopping in at number 9, I have the man that is now with Tampa Bay. That is Tom Brady. Now, some people are already losing their mind. How in the world is Tom Brady in the top 10? Okay, listen, man, listen. I don't know if they're going to be as successful as they were when he was with New England, right? That would be a complete reach. Even last season, I don't know if they're going to make the playoffs because the Buccaneers aren't a good team. But again, that's why I emphasize that this is not just by wins. The Buccaneers were not a good team. They had the 25th ranked defense and a 24th ranked rushing attack. They may not make the playoffs. We've seen last season when Tom Brady has the best defense in the league, he still got bounced early in the playoffs because That's just what happens, right? He's not the same quarterback he used to be. But his supporting cast, the weapons that he has to go to offensively is incredible. And he's still not terrible, right? He still is coming off a 24 touchdown to 8 interception season, which is a 3-to-1 ratio, obviously good. 4,000 passing yards at 85 rating, which is down a little bit. But still, he's got a great cast, which I think is better than what it was in New England, just offensively. Keep that in mind. We're just talking about the offensive cast. I think the offensive cast is better than what it was in New England. You know, you got Godwin, you have Evans, you have Gronk. You got some good players there. You got some really good players. You have a nice tight end position, even O.J. Howard. So I think, it's a solid team. It's a solid weapons. He's shown that, he can put up some good numbers. I mean, that's not too long ago he was an MVP, but what have you done for me recently? He was still a good quarterback last year for the Patriots. Just not great. Just not great anymore. He's kind of fallen off a little bit. And you can't just simply look at age here because, again, Drew Brees is only 1 year younger, and this dude's way higher on my list. So I have him at number 9. And yeah, I think he's going to have some big numbers. I mean, keep this in mind. Let me just throw this out there for a thought. Jameis Winston had 5,000 passing yards while throwing 30 interceptions with his team last season. Tom Brady won't throw that many interceptions. And I think Tom Brady's better than Jameis. That's just me. Now he's at number 9. Hopping at number 8, I have Deshaun Watson, the quarterback out of Houston. Deshaun Watson is a very good quarterback. And I don't think last season was as great. And that's why he dipped a little bit. I think it's fair. Last season wasn't great. There's some examples on here. For example, let's just take our guy Matthew Stafford because a lot of you guys know him because it's Lions channel. If we are looking and we're doing a projecting 2019 and, we're looking at, okay, what'd you do with Jim Bob Cooter? Oh, my, that was your numbers, my boy. He wouldn't be high. He probably wouldn't make the top 10 because it's like, whoa, that was pretty whack. But what we've seen recently, maybe he's definitely on the top 10. So when you look at Deshaun Watson, he was a heck of a player a couple of years ago. Now, last season wasn't bad. It wasn't as great as it was, but it's not bad. He's still a good player. He's got mobility. He's got some solid weapons. He lost DeAndre Hopkins, which definitely hurts. So it hurts the supporting cast. He did add David Johnson, which I think is someone that will help him out. This guy can't catch the ball in the backfield. He was known to be one of the best all-around running backs if he is healthy, but he's not DeAndre Hopkins. So he lost a pretty major weapon there. He still does have Fuller. He still does have Cooks, who they brought in. He's got Stills. It's a solid weapon group, right? And he's got a nice little running back to throw to. They're probably going to be a playoff team. I think Deshaun Watson is a good quarterback. I think he's a really good quarterback. And at number 8, that's no slouch. He's at number 8. That's good. Now let's hop into number 7. At number 7, I have the quarterback who is probably going to give me all the hate or all the love. I'm not sure here. And that is Dak Prescott. Yes, I went with the Cowboys quarterback at 7. Okay, I know. Some people are losing it. Over Deshaun Watson, over Kirk Cousins. Yes, I have him over those players because what have you done for me lately? You've looked pretty darn good. Now, he had a great rookie season. We know all about that. But last season, 30 touchdowns to 11 interceptions. Dude had tons of yards. People act like this dude's falling off a cliff for some reason. I understand a lot of people like Dallas. I hate Dallas. Let me just say that. But he's not a bad quarterback. Like, he's going to get his money. You brought in Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton's not taking this dude's job. I don't think Dalton's bad either. He's not taking his job. This is going to add, fuel to the fire. He's going to come out. He's going to win a ball out. He's on the contract year. And you added maybe the best wide receiver in the draft to this dude. To this dude's offense, all right? You already had Amari Cooper. You already have Michael Gallup. Now you're giving him CeeDee Lamb? I really don't know what to say. Yes, they're a good team because they have a great offense and a solid defense, but this dude's got weapons to go to, and he was pretty darn good last season. I'm not going to act like he was trash just because I don't like Dallas. So this isn't a biased list. That's why he comes in at 7. Having at number 6, I have Lamar Jackson, the quarterback out of Baltimore. Now, this was a former MVP. He's a heck of a player, and I think you can easily move this player up. This is the one player that I really struggle with because I think my top 5 is super strong, and I really can't waver it too much. However, if you want to bump Lamar Jackson up, go for it. Just go for it. I mean, I really wouldn't have a problem with it. Last season, 36 touchdowns to 6 interceptions, over 1,200 rushing yards. Obviously, that's huge. And I can't say, well, he's going to get hurt, so he's bad. No, I can't say that. What I seen from this guy last season, he was a beast. And obviously, a lot of people thought he was a beast too because he was. He led this team. Now, some people say he's not super accurate. I don't think he's super accurate either. But I can't take away from the fact that he can run really well. Maybe he's the best runner on this list. That's a huge factor. Now, could he get injured or something could bad happen? Yeah, but that could happen to every quarterback. And I can't just, use that to say, oh, if this happens, I can't do that. I can say that with every player then. Oh, if Tom Brady throws for 6,000 yards, well, yeah, if he does, yes, he would be number 1, but he's not going to. So the thing with Lamar Jackson is here, he's coming off a great season. He's got some solid weapons. I don't think it's anything that's mind-blowing, but it's solid. And he's got a good team around him, and they're going to be playoff contenders once again. So he comes in at number 6. Hopping into my top 5 now, at number 5, I have the quarterback out of Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers. Now, I know some people are already losing their mind because, Aaron Rodgers is the GOAT, this stuff. Look. What have you done for me lately is the name of the game in this video. And Aaron Rodgers comes in at 5. I think he's a little bit of a decline. I don't think he's bad. Obviously, I'm not even a Lions fan. I'm a Lions fan. I got him in my top 5. I obviously don't think he's bad. I just don't know if he's, one of the best quarterbacks in the league right now. Obviously, top 5 is one of the best, but not one of the top 3. I don't think he's up there right now. He does have a pretty solid team around him, and that's why they're successful. They were 13-3, which I can't take away from him. But again, they had a pretty nice team. I felt like the NFC North was kind of weak, even though the Vikings were okay. But aside from the Vikings, it was pretty whack. The Lions were bad. The Bears were bad. I think he's a good quarterback. 26 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 95.4 passer rating. One problem I have is his weapons. And I know he's never has great weapons. Some people will say that in the comments below. He's never drafted a first-round wide receiver for Rodgers. I understand that. They have Devontae Adams. They really don't have a number 2 to me. I don't know if Lazard's probably going to step into that role. They have Funches. They have some solid depth. I really don't dislike it. But I think one thing they're going to do is really focus on the run in 2020. Try to take pressure off his Rodgers. So I don't know how much bigger his stats will get than what we saw last season. They could even go down a little bit because they brought in A.J. Dillon out of Boston College. They have, Williams. They have Jones. I think they're going to really try to focus on that run and give him, a second ability offensively. So I still think he's a heck of a quarterback coming in at number 5. I just don't have him higher than number 5. Hopping in at number 4, we have Matthew Stafford, the quarterback out of the Detroit Lions. Some people are already here saying, "Oh yeah, this list is terrible." I saw some dude that said Stafford shouldn't be top 10. Okay, if you're saying that, you're at the wrong video, my guy, because I don't know what the heck you're talking about. That tells me you just watch. You watch First Take or something. I have no idea what you're doing. That's all you're doing. Because Matthew Stafford is clearly a top 10 quarterback. And to me, he's at number 4. I think you could bump him to 5, and I wouldn't have a problem with that if you flipped him and Rodgers. Those are the 2 that I think is easily flippable. You could just go like this if you want. But I have him at number 4 right now. Obviously, he's younger than Aaron Rodgers. But really, the biggest thing is, last season we saw him ball out. The first year under his new offensive coordinator, this dude was having one of the best seasons of his career. The highest passer rating he's ever had, he was on pace for. Over 100 and 106 passer rating. He had 19 touchdowns and 5 interceptions, and was on pace for 5,000 passing yards. If you take those yards and you put those on pace where he throws for 38 touchdowns and 10 picks and 5,000 passing yards and an 106 passer rating, that's one of the best stat lines of any quarterback we have on here. Plus, I know he's on a terrible team, so that's why I'm not looking at wins. Again, if you want to say, they're not successful, then you're at the wrong video because that's not this list. He's been on a terrible team, and that's why he's not number 1, because he hasn't carried them to win playoff games yet. He hasn't done that. That's why he's not number 1. And if he did carry these trash teams to be a playoff winner, I would lose my mind. He would easily be number 1 because his team's been pretty garbage. But if you look at Matthew Stafford, he has maybe the best supporting cast out of any quarterback on this entire list, maybe other than Mahomes. Why? Because he has Kenny Galladay, Marvin Jones Jr., who are easily a top, oh my gosh, those 2 alone are a great duo. Then you have Amendola, you have a new wide receiver they drafted this season, you have DeAndre Swift, you still have Kerryon if he's healthy, you had the 8th pick at tight end, you still have Jesse James. The offense is loaded, and they just continue to add to it. Matthew Stafford was 2nd in yards passing per game before he got injured, all right? He was averaging 312 per game. I think he was actually 1st before he got injured. If you look at the entire year and then look at his numbers, like if they would say the same. Dude was a beast last year, so tell me he's not up here. You can stop it, man. Just stop it, okay? You don't have to put him at 4, but he's easily in the top 10. Hopping into the top 3 now, at number 3, I have Drew Brees, the quarterback out of New Orleans. Drew Brees is, again, a heck of a quarterback, and I know he's old, right? Oh, this dude's 41 years old. How's he up here? He's still a beast, all right? The numbers are, you can't deny him. 116 pass rating, 27 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 74% completion percentage. He has Michael Thomas, Emmanuel Sanders, Alvin Kamara, who's on a contract deal. This guy is still an absolute monster, and it is proven. Drew Brees plus Sean Payton equals wins and equals success. And these guys have been doing it for years. This guy, I think, if you look at his career-wise, one of the best quarterbacks ever. I don't have him higher than the 2 guys up here. But, last season, wasn't his best season, but he's still one of the best ever. Hopping in number 2 now, we have Patrick Mahomes out of Kansas City. What have you done for me lately? You've done some good things, I'll tell you that. Now, 2018, this dude threw 50 touchdowns. Obviously, he was incredible. 2019, a little bit of a dip, right? Only 26 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. That's bad, right? That's still obviously incredible. 105 passer rating. But, man, this dude's got weapons on deck. Tyreek Hill, Mecole Hardman, Travis Kelce, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who you drafted in the first round. So, not only did you take this great weapons that he have and the great system that he was brought into, so he was super lucky because he was brought into the perfect system for him, and they continue to give him weapons. Now you add in the top running back, maybe one of the top running backs in this draft that catches the ball at the backfield. This dude's number is going to be off the charts, and that's why he comes in at number 2. But at number 1, we have Russell Wilson. Now, it's not just by stats. Hopefully I made that clear. It's not just by stats alone. But, and that's because, if that was just by stats alone, Matthew Stafford, by averages, would have been higher than Patrick Mahomes. But he's not, because I don't think he's better for 2020. However, Russell Wilson's coming in at number 1. And I don't think he had the best stat line, right? I mean, he had a great stat line. Don't get me wrong. 31 touchdowns to 5 interceptions. But this dude, every year, and I know it's what have you done for me lately, but what have you done for me lately? Okay, I've carried a pretty much mediocre team to an 11-5 record. Now, I know he's had some great teams, and you're like, well, he's had good teams, though. You're acting like they're all bad. Okay, yeah, he's had some good teams. And when he's had those good teams, he's won Super Bowls. Okay, he's been to a Super Bowl, he won a Super Bowl. This guy is incredible. Every year he's incredible. What have you done for me lately? You put up great numbers. You carried a team to an 11-5 record. You got into a playoff game. You were close in a playoff game that you probably even shouldn't have been in because your team is not that great on paper. You had the 19th ranked defense. You did have the 4th best rushing attack, which is good because you have Chris Carson, but you also can scramble a little bit. You got some solid weapons in Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, Dorsett, Moore. But overall, man, he to me is the best quarterback in this league right now, and he will be for 2020, and that's why he comes in at number 1. So let me know your thoughts, comments below. Thank you, for watching, and I'm out.